So talking about Torg Eternity, one of the really interesting parts about Torg Eternity's mechanics is this thing called the drama deck.
It's not Torg without the drama deck.
So what does the drama deck do? What is it?
So the drama deck controls the initiative. Is at its most root level, it controls the initiative. Heroes go first, then villains, and
or the other way around. Sometimes.
Or the other way around. But it does a lot more than that, and that's why we felt it's such a crucial component of the game. You can't do without it.
Okay.
And some of the extra stuff that it does, that completely changes the flow of how the game moves, are the conflict line, where there's all these different conditions that can get added, like you can be stymied, where you're taking minuses to your action. The bad guys could be stymied. You can get fatigued, where you're suffering shock. They can be fatigued. You can be inspired, where you recover it. Surges. We only have those affecting good guys right now, because we don't want it to make the GM deal with that. But a surge is how we deal with tests for passive equipment. An item, it's really easy to test for contradictions on an item that you're using actively. Oh, on a 1, it's going to blow up.
Sure. So the drama deck is what's going to introduce these cool random elements that happen during combat to kind of spice things up. It keeps it from being just sort of the same.
It does. It keeps even if all the other elements of a conflict are the same, the different cards that come up during it really keep that rhythm different and introduce different elements.
And if I'm not mistaken, there's a way to escalate that from just the standard line to the dramatic line.
Yeah, so Torg has always been a cinematic game, and we kind of really leaned into that with Torg Eternity. And back then, and now too, everything's done by act and by scene. And every scene has to be categorized as either a standard scene or a dramatic scene.
Dramatic scenes happen when things really are on the line, when this is the big moment of your game. So probably in a typical Torg Eternity session, most of your encounters are going to be standard. But then if you want that one encounter to be awesome, to be really memorable, you will say, this is a dramatic encounter. And now you're using the escalated line on the drama deck.
Right. Usually 1 per act or 1 per game session is going to be the dramatic one. And the conditions on the conflict line, they get a little trickier when it's dramatic. Bad guys are going to get a lot more bonuses, and good guys, it's going to be tough.
Now, the other thing the drama deck tells me during combat is it has a approved action line. So this is something I love. Approved
actions is one of those foundational core ideas that makes Torg. And this is one of the things that also controls the rhythm of the combat, where we've got interactions that you can do, like trick someone, maneuver them physically, intimidate them with your spirit. And the drama deck gives you extra benefits for playing into those rhythms.
So it incentivizes you to do things other than just, I attack every round. Sometimes attack is the approved action, but the other times it may be, the cards are telling you, if you trick this guy, you get a bonus. You're going to get an extra card.
Exactly.
If you maneuver, you're going to get an extra card. So the players are like, oh, how can I take advantage of that?
It is, and it also gives a lot of space to a player who might not be playing as powerful a combat character, but does have a very strong set of tools for those interactions.
Right. It makes all the different types of characters more viable with that. And that's cool. So outside of combat, drama cards are still useful. What are they useful for?
So one of the other elements that they have is the dramatic skill resolution box, which is always split into steps A through D. Mm-hmm. And those might also have setbacks, critical problems, things that can happen. And these can happen in combat too. Like it's very difficult when you have, if you've got a ticking time bomb and a battle going on around you. Well,
so that's kind of the genius, is that you can do a dramatic task resolution and a fight at the same exact time, and you use the same exact cards.
Use the same cards.
But even if we're not fighting, this is where the dramatic task resolution comes in that box. So we're flipping cards to see how well we're doing towards that resolution, where we're all pitching in and trying to accomplish something. Yep. What's a good example of a dramatic resolution?
Well, the favorite easy one is disarming a bomb.
Okay. nothing tense about that,
exactly,
right?
That one's crystal clear exactly what's going on. It's like, well, step A, you got to cut that red wire. Step B.
Right.
And D, the bomb is disarmed. And if you got a ticking clock, well, you got 5 rounds to get that step D done, or that bomb's going to explode.
And there are character abilities and perks and things like that that actually allow me to mechanically engage with the drama deck. I can sometimes ignore the word on the resolution line, or I can sometimes flip a new card, things like that.
Probably my favorite perk is Bolster, which is it's one of the leadership perks that you can say a few words, and spend your possibility and turn off your side's conflict line, which is a lifesaver when you're, it's like, oh, it's going to be a surge and we're all using, contradictory stuff. It's like, yeah, how about not?
Yeah.
Or fatigue and we're all barely on our feet. How about not?
How about not?
Let's
or the villains are up. I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't let you turn off the villains.
Oh, well, too bad.
There are different things for that.
Okay, but Bolster's still great.
Bolster's, it's one of my favorites.
So what else do you want to say about the drama deck?
Let's see. We got those. The one thing that we got to mention about it is the art.
Yeah, absolutely.
The beautiful, beautiful art that Gunship Revolution and others have done on these cards is amazing. And it really makes the deck pop.
And it's highly evocative because each card has a name.
It does.
The card has a name like Runaway, or
they have weakness.
Exactly, and so it gives you
the old classic. That old chestnut.
So it gives you a cue as a GM for how to interact, how to make that card's mechanics sort of work into the story of the adventure that, or the combat or whatever you're working with, the scene that you're in.
Right.
It gives you something to build off of.
And how that rhythm's going to rise and fall, where sometimes that initiative falls over to the villains and they get all these special things, but then it comes right back over to the heroes.
Yeah. And that's the drama deck.
Yeah.